All right, coach. How happy are you that you're finally in game week after just waiting and waiting and training without like having the game in the right?
Last week was painful, but we got through it, and now we can feel Sunday that it's right around the corner, and good mentality today, and just a big week for us to prepare bodies and minds, and make sure we're prepared for a really exciting matchup and at our building, and hopefully the fans are coming out. Tickets are moving because we need them. We need this place bumping, and I think just think the excitement will build now each day. Just looking forward to it.
And you felt that the players also were different today, knowing that this is game week?
They're hard to read, this group, but they will be. I think each day, I think you'll see a little bit more fire. These guys are pros. They understand how to manage themselves. Those sets are going crazy right now, and again, we still have a week and preparation and making sure we're prepared on what we need to do to deal with them. And then it's it'll build. It'll build. And today was just really getting back to work, a little re-entry day, get the weekend out of them, and then tomorrow we'll start turning it a little bit.
When you wait as long as you have guys waited, and it's really a difference between you and Kansas City. They maybe are waiting one more week, or it's no difference when you wait so long.
I don't know, but we'll find out. I've never waited that long. We're all used to the bye week, but they did. They took care of things very quickly against St. Louis. So it gave them 3, 4, 5 more days. It's significant. So it's a challenge. A challenge with 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. It's a tricky thing to continue to build, especially at this time of year. But also recover, get the minds and bodies right, as I said, but still keep the importance of this thing in our mind. So it's a balance. It's one we get practice with throughout the year because we hit 2 or 3 bye weeks every year, and as I said, we for the most part managed them, I think, throughout the season very well, and we've come out of those and with the right mentality. So our recipe, we won't change that recipe very much.
Coach, in sports, a lot of times the team that ends up winning is the team that gets hot at the right time. How dangerous is a team that catches fire at the right time? Because like Kansas City has now five wins in a row.
We're not too bad as of the last, couple months as well.
Right.
So I think, if you look at kind of just results in the league, these are 2 very hot teams. They've racked up a lot of wins recently, and they're not by accident. They're not here in this round by accident. They're real. It's a real team. It's been a real team since May. A rough start again, and Peter kind of righted the ship, and as he always does, and gets his team to compete. And got some health. He got some health back, and again, they've been one of the best teams in the league since summer. So yeah, it's no fun playing a team that's this hot and moving. But again, I go back to we're pretty hot too, and we've won a lot of games different ways over the last couple of months as well.
I know that mentally, maybe you guys have to kind of program yourselves to say, "Hey, it's just another game. It's another, league game." But it is pretty much a final, right? Because it's do or die. How is this week different than maybe, mid-March or April?
We need to, from a preparation standpoint, change that much in what we do. You have a little bit more time, so certainly you can spend more time on the opponent. But I think you have to be careful with that too. Now, spending too much time, it's overkill. So we'll keep to our rhythm, and I don't think I need to. This isn't a all week telling them how important this game is. I think that's organic. I think this is just it's something that I don't really have to double down on right now. I think they understand that. If they don't, it would be a little bit bizarre if they didn't understand the importance of, again, the week, the preparation, the heaviness of this game. And I think we should embrace the importance of this, and that we're in this moment for in a year that we started out with 17 new players and a new coaching staff. And, we're a year into kind of a new project. We're in a really good spot. We should be appreciative of that moment and make sure that with that appreciation, we also understand that we need to take advantage of it, because it's a good group. And as I've said many times, this doesn't happen every year where you're in good form. You're playing a home game, one-off to move into the conference finals. I think we have a nice humbleness about us right now, with still kind of under that is hunger and a bite, and this mentality that nobody thinks we can do this. I still read. I don't read a lot, but I do read the MLS site, and we're always last out of these 8 teams. It's like, yeah, we're the team that's the odd man out that can't do it, and that'll continue to be the narrative. And it's one I think we should embrace and understand that not a lot of people think we can do that, and sometimes that fuels our team to be at their best.
Having said that, and in the past, I remember there was an interview that you did where you kind of talked about a little bit about the fan base maybe not showing up as much as you'd like to. And I know as a team, you don't want to, it's a tough position to try to, maybe you don't want to obviously talk bad about your fan base, but when you think about what this team has done, you talked about it, 17 new players, from last season to this season. The team has also spent money, invested money on renovating, the stadium, try to make it cooler when it's really hot out there. You talk about signing a big player like Hector and stuff like that. So when the team has tried to do as much as it can, and it's putting on a good product now, and you're in the playoffs for the first time since 2017, but then you still see empty seats out there. What's the sentiment for, as a coach, as a competitor, players? What's the sentiment that you guys feel? Because I don't want to put words, if it's disappointing, I want to put words in your mouth. But what is the sentiment you guys feel?
It takes time, right? Again, there's been a little bit of a hold dog here, for numerous reasons. I don't know. I don't have time to go into kind of the past here, but our job is to start to put on performances and win at home, and so the people that do come, our fans, come back, and for the ones that show up because they want to check out a Dynamo game, that we put on a nice event, and that they come back, and that we win, because people like winners. Look at the Astros, right? But from what I heard 10 years ago, wasn't that hard a ticket to get, and they start winning. So this is a big part of having a fan base grow, and to also to reconnect with fans that have lost a little love for us. So again, there's no ill will. The fans that show up this year have been unbelievable, whether it's 7,000 or 11,000 or 15,000. They've been incredible. They still make the place feel full and give us the energy that we needed to win at home. They've been a big part of this year and the success. Again, in particular, the home field results that we have. But it can be more. I've seen it around I go to these other places and they're packed. And that's the goal. That's the goal of what this organization wants. And I'm no different, because I think we're putting on a good product. I know it's going to help us win games. And I believe in this franchise, and that it is a great experience. So all we can do on our end is win and keep putting, play an attractive style that people are enjoying, and again, put ourselves in positions to win, be relevant, and have more cameras in front of me, team. So this is all just kind of, it's a normal process, but it doesn't happen overnight. Whatever that, however it got to this point, that's not going to turn overnight. We got to do our part, and front office has to do their part. And that's what a lot of people are talking about behind the scenes, and how we can do that and make the experience better and win. So there's a lot going on with that. It's a loaded question. It's probably a long answer, but I do want to make sure it's clear that the fans that have been showing up for us this year have been incredible. Man, it's been great to get to know them a little bit, and hopefully they're happy with the product and what we're doing here and believe in us. It's nice to give them a championship or some, some silverware and some bragging rights around the soccer world. So it's overall, I've been pleased, but I know we can add more butts in the seat.
Because how much did you get involved? For example, pick a window like we're living right now. Players like Coco that is playing for a chance to play the Copa America also. Or you also have an important game here on the weekend. How much do you get involved? You might text his coach here with Panama, or you like leave it just to wait for him?
I don't need to be coaching somewhere else and getting in the way, or just like we don't want the Panamanian coach calling me and say, hey, this is, I think there's a little bit of an unwritten rule that, when they leave, you go, they're with their country, and they are a different set of rules. And so, yeah, and we follow them, we support them. I'm a Panama fan this weekend, we're following teenage. These are all wonderful moments for us to have. I was one of them. I would go on international weekends, and it meant a lot to me. So I know it means a lot to Coco and teenage. As we grow, I'm sure we're going to have some others getting calls up, and that's a sign that the team's doing well.
Coach, how different is it planning for a 3-game series in which you win all 3 games, and you had a long series versus a 1-game elimination?
I get that a lot. It's a good question. And the more I think about it, we don't do anything different. We prepare in the same way, in particular for that first game against Salt Lake. That was home. We're going out to win the game. And you can go about that in different ways depending on the opponent, right? So your tactics on playing Kansas City versus Salt Lake is going to be a little bit different on how we think we can go about winning the game. But it's a one-off, so you have to win. You have to win the game. So that'll be our mindset, in particular that we're home. We'll go after it. But we understand, I think the key is the process this week and making sure these guys are prepared for what's ahead of them. And it's not just the tactics, it's the emotion of this game, it's the physicality, it's what type of workload that we're going to need to put in if we're going to have some success.
We've got a few on Zoom. We'll go with John. John, go ahead.
Thank you. Just a quick 2-part question, Ben. First of all, you mentioned how excited the team is for this matchup. How much are you looking forward to matching wits with Peter Vermes again, renewing the rivalry with Kansas City in the playoffs? And what challenges do they present? And also, you mentioned how this team in the last couple of months has won games in so many different ways. Do you feel like that winning games in all those different styles with everything that the playoffs will throw at you, do you feel like that's something that could help you and even give you a little bit of an advantage in this match?
Address the first one. I'll say it. I've already said it. I'll say it again, and then I'll say it probably a few more times this week. As far as how much respect I have for Peter Vermes and what he's done there, and what he means to a lot of us younger American coaches. I think he's an incredible leader. I think he's a visionary. I think what he's created there at Kansas City, it's one of the great franchises and stadiums and kind of overall cultures in this country. And he has a large part in that at that organization. So again, looking forward to going against him. Always have had good battles with him throughout the years. And we've both been around quite a while with this league, so we've had plenty of them. And again, just a huge amount of respect for him and the way he prepares his teams. Looking forward to that matchup. As far as how we go about the game and winning them in different ways, I do think that helps. But it's the playoffs. They can get a little wacky, and because of the scenarios of any must-win type one-off games, you have to expect the unexpected, and whether it's you're up or you're down or it's tied late. There's all different types of scenarios that I think we've been through throughout the year, and in particular the last couple of months. There's been a tricky games of the Open Cup and of this last series that was very, very difficult against Salt Lake. Hopefully some of the resolve that we've shown and the resiliency throughout this last couple of weeks or months will help us, because you go about these games envisioning it looking one way, and then it changes, whether it's injuries or goals. There's a lot of things that change a game or change the complexion of the game. So we'll have to be on our toes and adapt like most games.
Up next, we'll go with Herman and wrap up with Maggie. Herman, go ahead. We'll come back to Herman. Maggie, go ahead.
Hey, coach. You mentioned earlier the players are kind of hard to read right now with their feelings, but in your eyes, back during Open Cup, in between, right before they went to the final and you guys won, you had mentioned that there was a shift that you saw in their eyes. Is it something now with playoffs, knowing that every game is kind of like a final, or is it something that you're still looking to see that shift in their eyes, or do you think they have like permanent playoff vision?
I've asked, we as a staff have asked a lot of these guys, from kind of the moment they got here, we were preaching playoffs, and that every game matters, every moment matters throughout the entire year. And then Leagues Cup hits, and those games had a certain importance to them, and kind of the do-or-die nature of those, and we wanted to advance. And then the Open Cup, we continue to go, and we're pressing on the gas there to hold a trophy. We finally get a trophy, and then we come back, and we're still not in the playoffs. So there's no rest there, and we're pushing the gas again to sneak into the playoffs. And then we get in, and now we want the 4th seed. So now we're pushing the gas to get the highest seed possible for this thing. And then we're in the playoffs, and now here come these games that are of the utmost importance. So there hasn't been a real lull with this team. So it's impossible, I think, Maggie, to have that, that eye that I spoke about then all the time, or you're just going to get burned out. So the challenge is with this group is because of the games have been so intense right on through the year, we've constantly been pushing them is to make sure the rhythm of the week is, I think, a smart one. For the most part, our staff and I think I have a pretty good feel for that rhythm and when to step away. But they also, as you've seen, this group's, they're a wild bunch. I mean, they have fun, and they have not. They've responded to us pushing them, and so I guess that's a long answer to say I'm not necessarily looking for that, because if I look for it too much, I'll read too much into it. They've showed me day before a game where they've been super loose and we've had success. They've had times like the Open Cup where they were, the intensity was really high and they've had success. So there's no real common theme there. So I think at this point they know how to prepare their pros individually, and as long as collectively we give them the right information to prep, I think we'll be we'll be at our best.
Thanks, Coach.
But did that answer your question, Mon?
Yeah, you haven't seen it yet.
All right, we'll try Herman one more time. Herman, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good
Go
deal.
ahead.
Hey, coach, on the surface, it looks like Alan Pulido is Sporting Kansas City's biggest threat. Our listeners would love to know, after analyzing the tape, what else stood out from Kansas City that could pose a threat to the Dynamo this weekend?
I could go down the line of attacking players. Saloy, Russell, Kinda, Walter. They keep coming. So the attacking options that they have, as well as Polito, are they're real. They're top 4 or 5, come at you, good in transition. They don't give up easy goals. The back four's very steady. They're a complete team. They're similar to Salt Lake, again, in their resolve and I think grittiness, but they also, I would say, play a little bit more through midfield than Salt Lake. It won't be as direct a game. They can get you in different types of ways. They can build on you, but they also can go direct and have some real transition moments that are scary for teams. So we'll just have to be at our best. We played them before. We understand who they are. We'll put together a good game plan for the guys and go after it. They're real. We just have to show up, and everybody has to be at their best to have a chance in this game, like any playoff game. Can't have 1 or 2 guys not at the level. The mentality, the energy, the work rate, all those intangibles have to be as high as possible. And hopefully we get a little bit of luck. But it's going to be I think a great game. I love the rivalry. Every day I'm hearing more stories about this rivalry between Kansas City and Houston, and I think it's going to have a nice edge to it, good energy, and hopefully some entertaining soccer. Hopefully we come out on top.